It looked like war. In his rooms on the second floor of the White House, in the flickering light of candles and oil lamps, President Andrew Jackson was furious and full of fight. He had just been re-elected to a second term as America's 7th president, and South Carolina was defying him. He hated it, for he believed to his core that the state was about to destroy the nation. For Jackson, the crisis was not only political, it was personal. 450 miles down the Atlantic seaboard from Washington, in Charleston, radicals were raising an army to defend South Carolina's right to nullify federal laws it chose not to accept. The first step, Jackson believed, towards secession and the destruction of the Union. "I expect soon to hear that a civil war of extermination has commenced," Jackson said, musing about arresting the Southern leaders and then hanging them. Gaunt but striking, with a formidable head of white hair, a nearly constant cough, a bullet lodged in his chest, Jackson, 65 years old that winter, stood 6'1" and weighed 140 pounds. Over a midday glass of whiskey in the White House with an old friend, Jackson pounded a table as he pondered the crisis. "By the God of heaven, I will uphold the laws." Week after week, he threatened to field a formidable force, and he knew who should lead them. "When everything is ready, I shall join them myself," Jackson said. At Boston's Faneuil Hall, Daniel Webster, the great Massachusetts senator, rallied to the president's defense, denouncing South Carolina's defiance in epic terms. "It is nothing more nor less than resistance by force. It is disunion by force. It is secession by force. It is civil war." The danger was real, for there was nothing foreordained about the future of American democracy in the Jackson years. The nation itself, dating from the Declaration of Independence, was barely half a century old. Now, as Jackson began his 5th year in the White House, the United States might collapse into fratricidal conflict, and foreign powers, always a threat, watched with anticipation. In a private letter, in the winter of 1833, Richard Colley, the Marquis Wellesley and elder brother of the Duke of Wellington, hoped for the dissolution of the American Confederacy, which I think would be a great benefit to the civilized world. Dispatching troops and a warship, the Natchez, to Charleston, Jackson, the general whose steadfastness in adversity and against the British in the War of 1812 had earned him the nicknames Old Hickory and the Old Hero, was determined to keep America together. He loved the Union with a consuming devotion. In the Radicals' camp, Robert Woodward Barnwell, a South Carolina congressman, passed along reports that Jackson was set on war if the state defied him. "Nothing but blood will satisfy the old scoundrel," Barnwell said. Jackson's own vice president, John C. Calhoun, had resigned and taken up South Carolina's cause. Though the immediate issue was money, South Carolina felt oppressed by federal tariffs, which it wanted to lower. The real question, everyone knew, was about power, and ultimately about slavery. If Jackson won the showdown, then Washington would be stronger and the South weaker, and a stronger Washington meant a greater threat to the future of what Calhoun called the peculiar domestic institution of the Southern states.